Okay, we are all in for a surprise because I have no clue how this is going to turn out. So let's see what happens. As promised, I want to do just a few questions, as many as I possibly can. And I want to put them out there. I want to answer them. I want to inspire. I want to help you with whatever concern that you may possibly have. So let's start with the very first question, okay? So the very first question is, what is a major key to becoming a strong leader? And actually, one of the second questions is, what makes you want to follow a leader? So number one, what is a major key to becoming a strong leader? And then the second question is, what makes you want to follow a leader? And I think that they both probably gonna have the same answer. I believe that you will not follow, believe in, take advice from anybody that you don't trust. I think that trust is one of the main key ingredients to being able to be an effective leader. That's just my opinion. If you don't have the trust, you don't have too much of anything. You just have people that are around you that are getting paid to follow you. And you want people to follow you willingly, but they have to trust you first. So if you're lacking in that area, you may want to work on that. All right, the next question is, when do you decide to just let somebody learn from their own mistakes? Woo, this is a good one. And stop trying to convince them otherwise. Okay, so I may have to take a drink or two on this one. Woo, just bear with me. Because if you're being honest, if I'm being honest, we spend so much time trying to teach someone else how to be a better them. Try to teach someone our way, and we want them to know that there's a better way of living, a better way of being. We spend so much time trying to convince the other person to do something that we want them to do. And it's been my personal experience that you're beating a dead horse if the person that you're trying to help is not willing to be helped. Okay? There's an old saying, and you probably know what I'm about to say. You can lead a horse to the water well, but you cannot make them drink. And so if you have something that's a better way of being, a better way of living, a better way of being inspired, a better way of leading, just because I personally believe that I have a great concept on leadership and a great way of being a leader, doesn't mean that I can help everybody. I just can't. And so to answer the question, or to wrap that up and to answer your question, you should not ever provide advice to anyone unless they ask. Because when they ask, they are at the very least in a place where they're able to receive, if not all, a small portion of what you have to say. And that's a great place to be. Okay? So do not give advice unless someone has asked. So, okay, the next question is, I am a victim of bullying or being bullied by my superior at work. And I'm struggling to figure out what I can do, to protect my health and my job. Okay, so that's a deep question, okay? I believe that our HR partners are just simply there for that reason. They are partners. Typically, if you're in a larger organization, let me say that. If you're in a larger organization, your HR partners are definitely there. They're not to be on your side or your supervisor or manager side. They are quite literally there to be a partner to bridge the gap, okay? The true definition of an HR department is to really help keep things afloat, okay? And to try to find a compromise between the two parties. So if you have a strong, true definition of an HR department, by all means, go talk to them. A lot of times we are so afraid of having that conversation with our HR partners because we don't want to be the tattletale. We don't want to get anyone else in trouble. Well, honey, guess what? If you're having an issue and being bullied by your manager or your supervisor, 9 times out of 10, there's a bunch more people on your team that's also being bullied. And so if you don't feel comfortable speaking up for yourself, speak up for them because they need you. So step up to do that. Okay, now there's a different scenario to that question. Say you don't have an HR partner, or worse, if you have an HR partner that is completely on the side of your manager and they are refusing to even take a meeting with you, they're refusing to listen to you. If that's the case, honey, it's time to find a new job. Stop subjecting yourself to that type of environment. And I learned that from Oprah Winfrey, and not too long ago, earlier this year. And she was talking about an interview that she did with the KKK and how they have helped change her career and her mindset of how she approached the talk show and how she felt during one of her shows with the KKK. And she thought she was out there bringing awareness. And she thought that she felt a weight on her shoulder for every black person to have this conversation with the white supremacists. And her response in a podcast, because this is of course years later, but her response is she had to determine that I don't have to feel that. I don't have to put myself in that situation ever again. And honey, I'm gonna say the same thing to you. You don't have to feel that. In fact, I was just faced with that not too long ago within my own career, where someone of a higher title felt that it was okay to yell at me. Honey, I don't have to deal with that. And quite literally, I walked away from the conversation while they were talking. I don't have to subject myself to that type of environment. I don't. In fact, I refuse to do so. Once you're able to get that into your mind that you don't have to accept that, that could possibly mean building a plan to get away and to get an escape to a new transition, or transitioning yourself out of that job into another one. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid to do that. Trust me, if you're speaking about your health, honey, that is far more important than your job. Find another job if your HR partners are not there to actually work with you. And I really do mean that, and I hope you grasp that. Anyone that's listening and you feel that you have to put up with things, you don't. There's a professional way to deal with things, but know that you don't have to be subjected to being bullied or belittled. Damn sure that work. Okay? Alrighty, next question. Okay, this is a personal question, and this must be from someone that knows me. But do you really shop on clearance? Okay, yes, I do shop on clearance. Target is one of my biggest things. I love Target. I love Target, and Target, and then there's a consolidation store that's down here near me that I like to go to. But I sell things on eBay, and so I find it to be comforting and almost soothing to shop on a bargain, right? Like, I don't know, like, it's crazy. You won't find me getting low quality items. Now that you won't find me doing. I mean, I'm as uppity can be, but I do believe in a bargain. I believe in bargains. I'm going to bargain shop. And again, I do really shop on clearance. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is another personal question. So, okay, the question states, are you fake and putting on a show when doing your videos? So I'm going to assume positive intentions behind this, and even if you have ill intentions, I really don't care. So to answer your question, no, I'm not being fake. If you meet me out in public, I probably would speak to you before you spoke to me. That's just who I am naturally. I smile. I try my best to be a happy-go-lucky person everywhere I go. Do I have bad days or character building hours? Absolutely. I make mistakes all the time. And the only thing I will say that is different since I've started this positivity journey It's not that I am more positive than most. It's not that I don't get faced with opportunities to grow. It's just that when I'm faced with those opportunities, I'm able to bounce back a hell of a lot faster than what I was 3, 5, or 10 years ago. 5 years ago, I would have held a grudge, or 4 years ago, I would have not even read this question. I would have found it to be disrespectful. But I'm learning the more I grow into my positivity atmosphere, my positivity zone, that that I'm okay. That I don't have to be one type of person. That me being Jimmy Ward Mize is a multitude of personalities. And when I'm doing a video, it's the most inspiring thing that I could possibly do to put my energy out into the atmosphere to help inspire somebody else. And so, no, it's not fake. And if you were to ever meet me, or when you meet me, and we're having a conversation on leadership, you're going to see me light up, baby. And that's with the ring lighting or not. I'm going to light up and we'll talk to you for hours. I love leadership. And I love inspiring people to be themselves. So, no, it's not fake. Okay. How can you stay in your lane but help thy brother? How can you stay in your lane and help your brother? So, I actually did a video about this the day before yesterday. It hadn't released yet, so you'll actually see this before that video. But I am 100% for you staying in your lane. 100%. I am 100% for me staying in my lane. And let me define that for you, or how I defined it. I believe that staying in your lane is simply a state of mind where you can master your own strengths, master your own weaknesses. And once you're able to have self-awareness of what your strengths and your weaknesses are, then you can step out of your lane to help your brother. But you only help your brother with your strengths. You only help your brother and encourage them and inspire your brother or your sister with what you have already figured out. You help them with your strengths. You stay in your lane on what you know nothing about. If you don't know about leadership, you should not be giving advice on leadership. That's my opinion. I believe that I can give advice on leadership only up until the point where I am now in my career. Being a C-level executive, I can't give you advice on that. I'm speaking to a mid-level manager or a director, or a VP, I can speak to that level. I can give you advice on that level. One thing I've definitely learned is that we are all people and we find the need to assist. We find the need to give advice. I just believe in staying in your lane. If you're going to give that advice, stay in your lane, master your strengths, so that when you're giving your advice and you merge out of your lane, you're only speaking about things that you know about. So I do believe in staying in your lane, but I also believe in helping your brother. Okay? Next question. Oh, Lord Jesus. I get asked this question so many times. How is life for you as a gay man living in the South? Gay black man, living in the South. So first off, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, and I actually live in Cordova, which is on the outskirts or the suburbs of Memphis. And I must say that the more I am growing as an adult, the more I believe in the concept of the energy that you put out into the atmosphere is what comes back to you. It's literally been my experience as a gay black man in the South. My walk is more feminine than most women that you'll ever meet. But I do get stares, but the downright ignorance, the downright hatred that a lot of my brothers and sisters have faced, whether that's being black or being gay or being part of the queer community, period. I've never had to deal with that. So I can never speak from their perspective. But from my perspective, when I meet someone, I make sure that they don't believe that I'm threatening. So even if you are the thug of the ghetto and you are hardcore, tattooed man that's manlier than the manliest man that you could possibly think of, when he meets me, I would never appear threatening to him. And I do that by being authentically me. And by that, I mean, if I speak to him, I'm going to speak to the woman that walks beside him. I'm not going to just look at him, I'm going to look at her. If I smile at him, I'm going to smile at her. I'm going to smile at the children. That's just who I am naturally. I'm a smiley person. I love to smile. But dealing with being a gay guy in the South, I don't hide who I am. And my experience, it's not a bad one. It's actually people in my neighborhood, people at my job, they treat me like another person, another human being. And one of the biggest things that I want anyone and everyone that may possibly have this question in their mind is that in order to make change, two things have to occur. A, you cannot seem threatened or you cannot seem threatening. And B, you have to have a seat at the table so that you can be a voice for every last one of those people that didn't have an opportunity to sit there. So don't focus or zone in on me being a gay man. Don't focus on me being a black man. Don't focus on me living in the South. And definitely don't focus on trying to put all of them together. Because every last person that is black is having a different experience. Every person that's gay or part of the queer community, they're having a different experience. They're having a different experience. My experience won't match anyone you know. It just won't. The best thing that I can say is that I'm here to inspire everyone to step up, to be a little bit more of who they authentically are. We can do that and have some authentic conversations. A question like that would never have to be asked. And I'm not being negative towards your conversation. I'm towards your question. I just want to be realistic. I get that question a lot, and I completely understand why. I wish that we didn't have to have that conversation. And so I'm wanting to focus and put more positivity out there. I'm wanting to educate. I'm wanting to inspire. And in order to get past questions like that, we have to allow everyone to be entitled for the experience that they have. Okay? So the very last question that I'm going to answer for this okay. Whew. Obviously, I answered way too long on that last question. So anyway, let me wrap this up. So this last question says, I double as a manager and a receptionist. Yet I have a few interns that somewhat likes to bully me when I am in my role as a receptionist. How do I remind them that I am their boss? Woo! Okay. First things first. If you have to remind anyone that you are the boss, that you are the supervisor, that you are the manager, that you are the director or VP, if you have to remind them of that, that literally means that you have not been doing your best, or you have not been doing a very good job of being a leader. When you are a leader, no matter what your title is, you're going to lead. Okay? Never feel the need to assert your dominance or assert your title on another individual. The moment you have to do that, you're probably going to lose their respect. Okay? So, my first thing, or my first comment to answer your question is, I would not remind them that you are the boss. I would not remind them of that. Secondly, if you have interns in your facility, in your department, and they are bullying you, they're probably bullying a lot more people. That is a toxic environment. And if you have toxicity within your environment, it will not be long before that toxicity takes over. You may want to get rid of it. That would be my best advice. Best advice. You do not want people in your organization that are going to corrupt, belittle, or bully another individual. We are human beings. We are not dogs. We are not animals. We are not some alien from the sky. We are human beings. And we all have the right to come to work, to perform our job without being bullied. And as their boss, as their manager, you get paid to make sure that that environment stays safe. So you can have an honest conversation with them to let them know that this bullying must stop. And I wouldn't even bring it up in regards to how they're treating me, but I would bring it up as of this behavior must stop. It will not be tolerated. And if you feel that you cannot uphold that, then let me help you transition to another facility, to another company. Now, this question was actually posted on a blog or a Facebook group. And the reason why it really stood out to me is because of the multitude of answers and responses that this particular entrepreneur or manager received. 95% of the comments that he received was all stating, oh, pull them to the side, let them know that you're the boss, number one. And again, I've already said that I disagree with that. But number two was have a meeting with everyone in the organization about this behavior. That is literally the worst advice that you could ever give anyone. And the more I read into the people that were writing those comments, the more I realized that they're probably not leaders. When you are a leader and you have a problem within your organization, you attack the problem. You don't try to build up a band-aid around it. It is really upsetting, and it really is a slap in the face for most employees because they know who the problem is, just like you do. Go address the problem. Don't bring the problem to everyone else's desk. Don't do that. That is bad management. Okay? But anyway, so I really hope you all have enjoyed this invitation into my home. But aside from that, I really hope that you have been able to be inspired by these leadership questions, by these positivity questions, by just getting to know me a little bit more so that hopefully I can build that trust. Because at the end of the day, I really want to inspire you to be a better you, a more authentic version of you, whatever that means, whatever that looks like for you. I really want to be there to help you and to inspire you. That's the truth, honey. That's the real truth. And so that's the true purpose behind these questions and these answers. I didn't have that growing up as a leader. And I didn't have that growing up as a gay black man in the South. And A lot of lessons that I've had to learn, I had to learn them the hard way. And when you know better, you do better. So until the next time, make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, newly on TikTok. All is inspired by Jimmy L. You can go to the website as well, which is also inspired by Jimmy L. If you want to listen on your daily commute to work, which I highly suggest. I have been interviewing some top leaders within our country and within my town here locally. But I've been interviewing a lot of different leaders, and they're giving a lot of different tips of leadership in 2019, and they're opening my eyes like crazy. But those interviews are all posted on YouTube. They are also the tips and snippets of the interviews are posted on the podcast, which release every Tuesday. So make sure you check them out. Subscribe if you haven't already. How about that? And if you're not my friend on LinkedIn, we need to connect, honey. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. No matter what you're doing, make sure you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. They are broke for the most part. They are broke and they have no clue who they are. So stop keeping up with them. Stop trying to impress others. Just be who you are. I beg you. And to all of my leaders, I beg you to step up and lead. And in the words of Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, leaders emerge. And I promise you, we need you. We need you right now. So please, emerge. Emerge. I love you guys as always. See ya.